In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Dear audience, today I am going to talk about discourse and grammar. It is one of the important topics that usually we cover in our syllabus about discourse analysis. Up till now, for example, you must have read traditional grammar, you must have come across the subject of syntax. Usually, when the sentence ends, the formal linguistics it ends. So, formal linguistics talks about phonology, it talks about, syntactic structures, meanings. But when we talk about discourse, discourse means going beyond the sentence. So, it means that we need to analyze grammar from discourse perspective. So, in this chapter, we are not going to talk about sentence based grammar, rather, we are going to talk about discourse based grammar. So, we have got different supporters like McCarthy, Hughes, and they have taken these ideas from Halliday and Ruqayya Hassan. So it's a big topic. I am not going to cover all these aspects today. For example, there is conjunction, there is reference, there is theme, rime, there is ellipsis. So some of the points, for example, reference and ellipsis, I will be covering today, and rest of the things I will be talking about later on. In traditional grammar, for example, words like it, this, or that, usually they are out of the context. But when we talk about discourse grammar, we will have to keep in mind that what is the relationship of this word it in the context in which it is used, and how it is relating to the social world which is there. And we are talking about that social world. So McCarthy, he takes these ideas from Halliday and Ruqayya Hassan, and he analyzes the grammar from the perspective of discourse. In our today's topic, we should remember first of all, Brian Poltridge talks about the unity of texture and the unity of structure. The unity of structure, usually we come across the schematic structure, and this schematic structure we find in all kind of genres that we come across. For example, if you are supposed to write an application or a letter, it has got a schematic structure. So there is always salutation, introduction, okay, then body, and then conclusion, and then leave taking remarks. So if you are writing about an essay, so it should have outline, there should be proper introduction, then body, and in the body how you are developing your argument, and then there is conclusion. So this is the schematic structure. But besides this schematic structure, there is unity of texture. So unity of texture is created with the help of cohesion and coherence. Let me read a paragraph and then I'll explain. Unity of texture refers to the way in which resources such as patterns of cohesion create both cohesive and coherent texts. Usually I say cohesion is on the page and coherence is in the mind, because you read the sentences, you read the paragraphs, and then you try to understand the unity in the text. So it is there in the mind. You try to understand different kinds of meanings which are created with the help of those sentences that you are reading. And of course, most of the sentences, they are talking about one topic. So in this way, coherence is created, and coherence, it is there in the mind. We make use of our cognitive abilities, and in this way we try to understand coherence. But cohesion is on the page. So we come across words like it, this, that, these, those, here, there, tomorrow. They are also called deictic expressions. But these are the words. They are discussed here today under the heading of reference. Because, for example, words like I, words like he, words like she, they, they are referring back to some of the people in the text, or they are referring forward to some of the people or subjects or things in the text. So cohesion is on the page. Words like and, but, therefore, moreover, they are there on the page, and they will also help you to determine the texture of the text. These words are used to point out certain elements in the text. And of course, when the person is making use of these resources and he or she is creating some kind of pattern, and this pattern is there in the text, so you are using your cognitive abilities to understand that how they are used in the text. So this is the unity of texture. So unity of texture is created with the help of cohesion and coherence. An example of this is where the meaning of items that refer outside of the text, such as it and that, can be derived from the social context in which the text is located. Texture then is a result of interaction of these kinds of features is like I, my, we, you, they, here, there, this, that, those, moreover. The texture of a text, Hassan describes texture as being a matter of meaning relations. A crucial notion in this discussion is that of a tie which connects the meaning of words to each other as well as to the world outside the text. Now, what differentiates a cohesive grammatical unit from a random collection of sentences? Cohesion and coherence are terms used in discourse analysis and text linguistics to describe the properties of written text. Advertising language tends not to use clear markers of cohesions, but is interpreted as being coherent. So we will have to understand that how these resources, they are manipulated by the author, and he is developing the texture of the text, and we are making use of our cognitive abilities to understand the meanings which are residing in the text. Coherence, the ways a text makes sense of to readers and writers through the relevance and accessibility of its configuration of concepts, ideas, and theories. So text, it has got concepts, ideas, and theories, and you are making use of your abilities. You are trying to understand the text. You are trying to see the relationship between ideas and concepts. Cohesion, the grammatical and lexical relationship between different elements of a text which hold it together. So cohesion one can find on the page, and coherence is in the mind. Coherence is a semantic property of discourse formed through the interpretation of each individual sentence relative to the interpretation of other sentences, with interpretation implying interaction between the text, the reader, and the writer. It is a property that a reader will discern, point out in the text. It allows the reader to make sense of the text. It refers to semantic unity created between ideas, sentences, paragraphs, and sections of a piece of writing. Coherence and cohesion. Cohesion, formal linguistic features like repetition, reference, and this is what we will be discussing later on. Semantic relationship between sentences and within sentences. Cohesion is determined by lexically and grammatically overt, clear intersentential relationship. Coherence, very general principle of interpretation of language in context. Fewer formal linguistic features, vocabulary choice, relationship deals with text as a whole. I have already talked about cohesive tie. So, in cohesion, the very first concept that we come across is of reference. Halliday and Hassan identified general categories of cohesive devices that signal coherence in text. So these are reference, ellipsis, substitution, conjunction, and lexical cohesion. So some of the items we will be talking about in our later videos. But today I shall talk about reference and ellipsis and substitution. Replacement of words and expressions with proforms. Example, pronouns or pro-modifiers. Three types of reference exist in English: personal, demonstrative, and comparative. Personal communication goal of referent, demonstrative proximity of referent, comparative similarity to preceding referent. So in detail, now I will be talking about them. Personal pronouns, they include I, we, you, they, he, she, and it. And in stylistics also, I have talked about that sometimes I in context, in discourse, refers to only one person, but sometimes it can include the other people as well. We, it can include I along with the listener, and sometimes some people use it only for one person. For example, Allah Almighty in the Holy Quran makes use of we, hum. And sometimes some people who are very proud or they consider that they are from elite class, they make use of we. And here we is representing only one person, singular I. English is considered an international language. It is spoken by more than 260 million people all over the world. They told me you had gone by her car. So they, it is a personal pronoun, told me. So me, in this case, the person who is referred back, maybe the person who is speaking, you had gone by her car. So personal pronouns are there. Demonstrative reference, essentially a form of verbal pointing. The speaker identifies the referent by locating it on a scale of proximity. In general, this, these, and here imply proximity to the speaker, near the speaker. This, so it can be this marker, highlighter, this mobile, so something which is near me, and that board because it is far from me, or that bulb because it is far from me, or those bulbs because they are far from me. That, those, and there imply distance from the speaker. Usually the speaker is enjoying the deictic center. Speaker is in the center. So keeping in mind the speaker, we talk about these deictic expressions. And here they are referred to as reference words. Demonstrative reference. Like personals, the demonstratives regularly refer exophorically to something within the context of situation. How do you like a cruise in that yard? Pick these up. I will be coming to endophoric and exophoric reference, and these will be clear to you. But we cannot say that I or he or she, they are endophoric or exophoric. It depends on the context, that how the author is making use of these references. So we will have to understand the context. In discourse, context plays a very important role. Without context, language is never produced. So people are there, language is there, world is there, context is there, and within the context, language is playing its role. So context we need to understand. Comparative reference contributes to textual cohesion by setting up a relationship of contrast, expressed by such adjectives as same, identical, equal, adjectives in a comparative degree such as bigger, faster, and adverbs such as identically, likewise, so, such, etc. She has a similarly furnished room to mine. The little dog barked as noisily as the big one. They asked me three equally difficult questions. So comparative references are there. We will have to see in the context that the author is making use of comparison with what object, with what kind of element in the text, what they are referring to. So in this way, comparison is made. Halliday and Hassan call within text cohesive ties endophoric reference. Within the text, it is endophoric, and references items outside the text exophoric. So something which is referring outside the text is exophoric, and something which is referring back to the text is endophoric. And within endophoric, we have got two kinds of references, anaphoric and cataphoric references. And outside the text, so exophoric. Let's read their examples. Endophoric ties, first of all. Wash and core 6 cooking apples. Put them into a fireproof dish. An example of an endophoric reference when them referred back to apples. So in the example, them, it is referring back to the word apples. So it is in the text. So that is an anaphoric reference because it is referring back to apples. Wash and core 6 cooking apples. Put them into a fireproof dish. So them is referring back to apples. So this is anaphoric reference within the text. So it is endophoric. Reference signals to the reader what kind of information is to be retrieved. Them therefore signals to the reader that he or she needs to look back in the text to find its meaning. Of course, them is referring to apples. So it is endophoric, it is anaphoric. We went to Devon for a holiday. The people we stayed with had 4 children. The eldest girl was about 9. The first "the" is cataphoric here because it is there is no lexical relation between people and anything in the preceding sentence. So it is cataphoric. The second "the" is both cataphoric and anaphoric. Cataphoric, the eldest defines the girl, and anaphoric, the girl is related to children. So sometimes we will have to see, for example, the boy in the class who came late. So sometimes, it is referring forward and sometimes it is referring backward. So the can be sometimes anaphoric and sometimes cataphoric depending upon the use of this word in the context. Exophoric outside the text. For he is a jolly good fellow, and so say all of us. As readers outside of this environment, we are unfamiliar with who the he is that is being referred to, but most likely the people involved are aware of he. Of course, because text is produced in context, so you know the listener and the listener knows you well. So sometimes when you are referring the flowers in my garden, for example, in the classroom, my garden is not there in the classroom, but some of the people who have visited my house and I am referring to the flowers in my garden, so it means that I am talking about those flowers which are there in the garden. So my listener knows what I am referring to. So it is exophoric reference right now because the garden is not here, but the listener and the speaker, they know that what kind of garden and what kind of flowers they are talking about. When the meaning is not explicit from the text itself, but is obvious to those in a particular situation, this is called exophoric reference. There is another kind of reference that Brian Poltridge talks about, and this is called homophoric reference. Homophoric reference is related to culture. For example, in my culture, we have got the concept of wazoo, evolution. Sometimes people use it in English, but English culture may have a very different meanings of the word evolution. Namaz, we say offer prayer or say prayer, but the kind of prayer that we carry out in the mosque, in the masjid, is altogether different. But in the context, when Muslims, they are talking with each other or one another, they know what is meant by the word zakat, they know what is meant by the word badi Eid. So because we have got cultural associations with these words, so of course such type of reference is called homophoric reference. Now I move towards substitution. So substitution is of 3 kinds. Substitution means something which can replace another word in the text. It can be nominal, verbal, or clausal. Let's read their examples. Types of cohesive relation, linguistic level, reference, semantic, substitution, including ellipsis, grammatical. Nominal substitution. For nouns, we have got the word one or ones. For nominal complement, we have got the word the same. And for attribute, we have got the word so. John seems to be intelligent. Is he really so? So means something intelligent, it is referring back to the word intelligent. Intelligent is replaced with the word so. The pronoun one is often used in nominal references. Let's go and see the bears. The polar ones are over on the rock. The polar ones, the polar bears. So ones here is replacing the word bears. So bear is a noun. So it is a nominal substitution. Winter is often so damp. The same is true for the summer. The same. So it is complement. It is replacing so damp. So it is complementive substitution. The verbal substitution in English is do. We can replace the verb with do or be or have or proposition do so, be so. The words did not come to the same as they used to do, as they used to come. I finally called on him. I have wanted to do so for a long time. I have wanted to call upon him. So called upon is replaced with the word do. So this is verbal substitution. Clausal substitution. The whole clause can be replaced. For positive so, for negative not. In clausal substitution, the entire clause is presupposed and the contrasting element is outside the clause. Is there going to be an earthquake? It says so. So is replacing the whole clause. Is it going to be an earthquake? Has everyone gone home? I hope not. I hope not. Not means not everyone has gone home. So it is a clausal substitution. Then we have got zero substitution as well. Deletion of words, expressions or phrases. Substitution by zero. It is called ellipsis. So again, ellipsis is of three kinds: nominal, verbal and clausal. If noun is replaced, it is eliminated, it is ellipsed. So this is nominal ellipsis. If verb is deleted, it is verbal ellipsis. If clause is deleted, it is clausal ellipsis. Here are the examples. Here are 13 cards. Take any. 13 cards is deleted. So this is nominal ellipsis. Take any. Now give me any three. Cards is ellipted here. Some say one thing, others say another. Thing is ellipted here. Deleted. Which hat will you wear? This is the best. So it means this is the best one. So then it will become substitution. One is replacing hat. But if you remove the whole noun or verb, this is deleted. This is ellipsis. Have another chocolate. No thanks. That was my third. Smith was the first person to leave. I was the second. To leave is ellipted here. Verbal ellipsis. Have you been swimming? Yes, I have. So been swimming is ellipted. What have you been doing? Swimming. Is he complaining? He may be. I don't care. He may be complaining. The word complaining is ellipted. I haven't finished it yet. I hope you are going to have by tomorrow. Some were laughing and others crying. Were is ellipted. So now clausal ellipsis. Smith was going to take part, but somebody telephoned and asked to see him urgently, so he had to withdraw. I kept quiet because Mary gets embarrassed if anyone mentions about John's name. I don't know why. I don't know why Mary mentions John's name. So the whole clause is ellipted. So this is clausal ellipsis. Well, dear students, in the end, we should remember we are talking about discoursal grammar. In discoursal grammar, the concept of context plays a very important role. Here, the speaker, the listener, the outside world, the perspective, all these things play a very important role. Here, your cognitive ability, it plays a very important role. That how you are conceiving the whole idea and what kind of words you are making use of and what they are referring back or referring forward, and how you are making use of substitution or ellipsis, because in our spoken or written discourse, we do not mention each and everything. So we will have to be very careful when we are analyzing the grammar in discourse. Thank you very much.